On this week's City Skylines 2 o'clock, the end of an institution, land value discussion, literal city regrowth, and a new concept for a battery city. All this with this week's special guest, Larry Skylines.
Hello, BonBon. Happy to be here once again.
Really good to have you back as well. And again, we have another packed show. We've got a load of news, lots of it from the Dev Diary, plus a little bit of extra news as well, which I'm going to self-indulge with if you don't mind.
Go right ahead. It's your show and your channel.
I never noticed. Anyway, so we start with some very sad news that we see the end of something which I've been repeatedly told has inspired a decent sized community and yes, at times frustrated them too. WhatMap is coming to an end at the end of this month, which excludes any potential one-off specials for big maps by the big creators or the channel supporters. I know there are a couple coming through from the channel supporters, but the weekly, daily grind of reviewing maps is coming to an end at the end of this month. I've really enjoyed doing it. I have absolutely enjoyed doing it. Originally, I started the series to help me find the best map for my next city build. It has somewhat evolved over the years to become somewhat of a map maker's Bible show. Stats-wise, the final episode, our final scheduled episode, will be episode 1643, which using rough maths, if you sat down and watched it from beginning to end, thank you, Mr. Motorbike, it would be a little over 3 weeks of continuous watching. So the final episode will go out on Tuesday the 25th of July. We'll be live from 7 p.m-ish in the UK. So did you catch much of WhatMap over the years?
Yeah, I have. And, you know, I probably never would have attempted to make a map if it wasn't for your show, you know, and I just watched it just for that aspect of it, just to kind of see about the maps and, you know, kind of see about how they're created. And then, you know, you start looking at really all the detail that goes into it. I mean, you may not think about it just playing on these maps, but then to have watch someone kind of analyze it, and then you really get more of a feel for just how much work goes into making a map.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're not wrong there at all. And of course, there are so many different styles and inspirations to be grabbed, and that seems to have been where the show has gone. And if we do a City Skylines 2 WhatMap, I think we'll be looking more towards that than trying to find the best map. But we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, there's going to be a couple of months with no WhatMap and no Top 100 countdown, because that's winding down now as well. We're into the top 10 now. So I've got a new interactive collaboration series, like a mass multiplayer one, which pretty much everybody can get involved with. If you're interested in getting involved, keep an eye on the channel. And I've got a ton of specials, and I really do want to complete that obsolete complete guide series. It bugs me when I say it's going to be a 10-parter and I've only got 3 parts recorded. Even if it's not going to get watched, I kind of need to finish it, otherwise it's not a complete guide.
Well, you could rename it the Incomplete Guide.
I like that. I'll do exactly that. Well done. Anyways, okay, so we had the new Dev Diary again this week, packed with more bits and bobs, and we'll skip through and pick out some headliners. So starting off with the garbage. The landfill district. I'm going to call it a district because it's got movable edges, which you can make as large as you like. So it gives me an idea for maybe something like a garbage island. I know we certainly have had those in New York City in the past.
A garbage island, I hadn't thought about that. You know, one of the things I always hated dealing with in the game was those landfills, and it seems like they always needed to be emptied, and it's like, just give me the incinerator already, and let's move on from this. So seeing that I can sort of customize my landfill doesn't really excite me, but yeah, when you start thinking about doing something like that, like a garbage island or something, then maybe it gets a little bit more interesting.
A lot of fun to be had. Of course, we'll still have the incineration plants to burn the waste, so you'll transfer. It's kind of like a warehouse for waste, I would say, the landfill now. So you transfer your waste to the landfill, and then the incineration plant takes from the landfill, burns it, turning that waste into electricity, which of course is money saving, which is got to be a good thing. Next
sure.
up, next up we have water, where we have groundwater deposits, which is a new aspect. Previously, we just plop down our water tower, and just get unlimited water. But these now have a limited refreshment rate and are small spotted zoning. So something for the map makers to put into their maps as well.
Yeah, you know, I like that aspect of it to where there is groundwater deposits and you need to place them there. Of course, there's still the water pumps, so you'll be able to draw out of rivers or the bodies of water. But yeah, it's another interesting approach to the game, and maybe we could have a completely landlocked map if that would be interesting to play on. But there would be a hard limit, I guess, to the game when you run out of water. So I
Well,
don't
that's,
know, but
that's
it,
yeah, I would say that.
interesting.
Yeah, that is actually it's an interesting take as well, with the doing a desert map with no rivers at all becomes a logistical thing. I like that concept. Another meme build being set up there.
It would be a unique challenge, I think, to build on a map like that.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see these unique challenges burnt through very, very quickly. Speaking of burning, so we have on top of the groundwater mechanic, we now have the wastewater treatment plant, which produces solid waste, which can be hauled to the city's garbage management sites and burnt at the incineration plant. So that is going to be taking literal poop and turning it into electricity, which again leads to another potential meme build where you just power your city from poop.
Yeah, that would be interesting. You know what else I just thought of, Bonbon?
Go on.
Makes me wish that, these the vehicles like the donut van and the hot dog van and so forth were kind of a thing here, because now we could have a truck with like a poop emoji on the roof driving around, and there goes your solid waste off to be burned.
I'm sure there'll definitely be commissions on the workshop for exactly that now. I want one of those right now in my city.
I need a poop hauler.
The poop hauler, sponsored by Larry Skylines. Oh, yeah, too many jokes there. Let's not go down that route. Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Moving on.
moving on. So education, we have the 5 levels of education, which with each level matching one of the 4 building levels. So you have elementary schools, high schools, college and university, and of course the possibility that a person has gone through 0 education.
And the one thing I like about this new education structure is that it's like expanded on from the current vanilla base game. It's expanded on that, but it's also like simplified. It's like Campus DLC simplified with just a couple of the a technical school and a medical school, and I guess the college is like a 2-year school and university is a more formal 4-year school. And yeah, I really like this aspect of it, and as well as just being able to expand these things. The Campus DLC, I think, was just sort of became too involved with all these different buildings and things.
Yeah, did like the let's be fair, I really liked the buildings in campus. I wouldn't have used most of them because a lot of them were very US focused, and I was very much a UK style build, so the buildings wouldn't have fitted with my build. But the building models were superb. Was it King Leno who made them? I think.
I don't know.
I
don't know. The buildings, all the building models, the buildings look great, but the actual gameplay portion of it, I wasn't a real fan of.
Yeah.
It seemed like it took forever to get those things leveled up, and you're just plopping a lot of the same buildings and fountains and things in order to get where you need to be.
Yeah, well, I say oversimplification is sometimes a good way to start. Yeah, you're ahead of me on the curve there. I was going to mention that there are the three different sorts of university: your regular, your medical, and your technical. Be interesting to see whether having a medical university close to a hospital will have some sort of passive effect between one and another, maybe. And also, interesting that citizens can actually fail to graduate and then decide whether they're going to go back into education or quit at that point and go and get a proper job.
Or that may lead us to the welfare aspect of the game that they introduced.
In fact, well, okay, we'll jump to that one next. It wasn't quite on my list, but do you know what is close to the next on the list? Yes, city administration buildings. So we have three new. This is one thing that bugged me with the original game. Is yes, we did have a city hall, but it was a unique building, and it basically did nothing apart from tourism. What we have now are the welfare office for bringing a little bit of happiness to those down on their luck. The City Hall and the Central Bank, which in different ways are very similar to each other, basically helping with loans and that kind of thing. But basically these little things just to help bring a little bit, and I imagine there'll definitely be DLCs coming along with more city admin buildings. I can see an administration district being a thing.
Yeah, I would think that that is certainly an aspect of the game that they could expand on. It's something that didn't exist in City Skylines 1, and certainly there's more they could do with that. So yeah, it sounds like the groundwork, the framework is there for that aspect of managing your city. Yeah, and that it could be expanded upon.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Now, you use the word groundwork and framework. Those are two things that need to be solid, especially in a building. And what we have seen this week is an animation of a collapsing building, which almost in the same way as the when we first saw a vehicle crash from the devs. That was kind of funny. The first one that you saw, until you look past it, you start really appreciating what sort of gameplay it would have. But yeah, the collapsing buildings, and that collapsing buildings can actually have people inside them that need saving from via the fire services, and maybe taken to hospital as well. But it was an interesting mechanic to actually include it a complete just a catastrophic collapse of a building.
You know what I thought when I saw that happen in the video?
I dread to say, carry on.
I hope I can turn that off.
Ah,
Because that just looked absolutely ridiculous to me. I don't know what you thought. And I know it's a beta version of the game, and maybe they'll clean up that animation, but it's like, are there just going to be buildings just randomly falling down for no reason?
yes.
Maybe we need to bring in an engineering school
Yes.
so that doesn't happen.
Well, my first thought was, having never seen a building collapse like that, was the first time that I saw a tall building go, which was the horrific events of 2001. But yeah, so the thought of a building collapsing directly downwards rather than toppling, which is how I always, as a younger person, imagine that to be the case. Good to see they kind of got that mechanic right, but it does. And also the smoke animations are still very generically City Skylines 1 there as well.
Yeah, the one interesting thing I liked in the video was the fire animations seem to be much improved.
Yeah.
So good to see that our cities will still burn very well and look better while that's happening. But yeah, the building collapses, I'm not so sure about that one.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see how it plays out.
Well, yes, I'm sure.
Pun intended.
Very good. Like it. Anyway, okay. So if things are not at a point where they're collapsing, hopefully people are going to be happy, and we can help that with their well-being rating with various things like making sure they can send birthday cards or receive birthday cards in the post. So we've got the post mechanic, which we used to already, but also the hashtag meme. They stole my idea, Telecommunications. An idea which I originally put to them a few years ago, and they have taken one aspect of, and I'm sure they really did think of it themselves. I don't think everybody even opened my email on that one. But telecommunications, giving the internet and thus well-being to the citizens as well.
You know what I just thought about BonBon is that maybe this will lead to like a Chirp X DLC, and we can launch rockets into space with satellite internet. Maybe this is the framework for that.
I just realised that maybe what we can do with the money that we make from all of the internet and from selling our poop electricity is if we can raise 44 billion, we can buy Chirper.
We could. Excellent point.
And run it into the ground.
Yeah.
Does
anyone enjoy those chirps anyway?
No, never. Never. The first thing I did was I got rid of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so parks are not the only area for recreation now. People can go to the shops, for restaurants, sports venues, to tourist attractions and to landmarks. So for me, this was great because it only ever was parks and shops served a purpose and restaurants served a purpose, but it wasn't for happiness. We're effectively getting well-being from all of these, but where it says landmarks, does that mean where we've got just higher land value from viewpoints over the city, from cliffs, that kind of thing? I wonder if that will actually be included.
Yeah, I don't know. I would assume that there are perhaps buildings in the park menu or something somewhere that are designated as a landmark, and that's what it would be. But yeah, I guess it sounds like it's pretty wide open there for interpretation at the moment as to what a landmark would be that people could go there.
Now, landmarks will of course also attract tourists, and here's another nod to a previous DLC, the hotels and retreats. This one, tourists will actually stay at hotels. So I imagine hotels will have a fill rating. Say I can take 40 different tourists or whatever, and trying to ensure that you have enough hotels in your city, which of course a lot of that I'm guessing will be down to zoning and trying to encourage them to spawn. I'm not entirely sure how hotels will. Have you seen anything on how to place hotels in the city?
In the new game, no, I have not. But yeah, I mean it makes sense that the buildings that are called a certain thing actually serve that function in Cities Skylines too. Yeah, you mentioned the City Hall and in the first game that we have, and it's just a unique building, and yeah, it could be called anything really, and it serves the same purpose. So yeah, I like the aspect of that there are buildings that are called something and they actually serve that purpose in this game.
This is good. It's progress. Like progress.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, one question that I asked last week, I think it was regarding depots and the equivalent of what would be a shipyard or an airport, an airline hangar. Would planes and ships spawn from these sort of buildings? Apparently, that has been answered, and the answer is no. Planes are going to only come from external connections, but ships also. So we know that we can ship from one harbour to another within our own city, but we're going to rely on them spawning at the edge of map to come to one harbour to start that process.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see how that works. and how quickly they get there. Uh, yeah, I guess not too much more to say about that, but hopefully yeah, it's not too much of a hang up and we get what we need.
Right, well, I'm going to skip my next point because it's something that I don't really think we're going to get much from, or we're running low on time already. So let's talk about trees.
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 Everybody's favorite
Trees.
thing in City Skylines.
Everybody's favourite thing indeed. Placing new trees on the map using the tools in Landscaping's Vegetation menu plants tree saplings that eventually grow into mature trees. And burned down trees will need time to regrow.
Very interesting. So I guess we'll have trees that upgrade. You know, what are you gonna say now for saplings in the water, Bon?
Oh, they got their baby trunks on.
But yeah, it's certainly an
Right.
interesting mechanic. You know, and it will be good to see, you know, the city grow. And I mean, just imagine as the seasons change and your trees grow, and you can watch your city evolve and take shape. You know, like things do in real life. It'll be interesting.
Right, and one last flying point before we wind the show down. As services can be imported, also they can be exported as well, including if you link up your electricity and water with the edge of map, you can export your surplus electricity power. Which leads me to a meme build where maybe we can generate all of our electricity via poop and then sell it and have that as our only source of cash by selling it out of the city. What do we think to that?
Yeah, as long as it can make money. That just makes me wonder if we can sell our solid waste too. I don't know who would want to buy that, but yeah, for sure. Let's make that. And you know what? It's just great to be able to make some money in other ways as well
Yeah.
in the game.
Well, I'm totally with you there. But we've made it to the end again, so you've got about 8 seconds to say goodbye, I guess.
All right. Thanks for tuning in and listening once again, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, that's it from us. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to Larry Skyline's channel. Link is in the description. We'll see you again very, very soon.